Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda. Chris back for more big weekend, the face of boxing. And look, it's May. It's May, so we're going to get a lot of action, a lot to unpack. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, no, guys, welcome back again. Like you said, Gio, lots of action, the face of boxing, back at it again. And yeah, man, some breaking news, Gio. What do you want to start with?
Yeah, so you guys see it there on your screens if you're watching this on YouTube. Shout out to the people already checking into the live chat. It's going to be lit today, man. A lot to talk about. We haven't had a chance to speak on Ryan Garcia, the alleged positive test. Chris, give me your initial reactions. I know this happened after the podcast. As I said, we haven't had a chance to speak on it, but we'll Google the updates and all that stuff. But initial reactions on your end when you heard that Ryan had tested positive for some alleged banned substances after, obviously after the big victory against Devin Haney.
Well, just like many people, Gio, my first thoughts was like, oh man, I knew something was up. Like that win could not have been like, it was too good to be true kind of moment. But I took some time to just chill back, relax, try to, analyze the situation, Gio. I was like, just like everybody in the world, we don't know all the facts, all the figures. We're not experts when it comes to, those kinds of tests. So I sat back a little bit, did some interviews. You can see on our channel. Yeah, man, sometimes there's adverse findings. Sometimes it's sometimes it's just one measly thing. We don't know, Gio, but yeah, my first initial reaction was shocking.
Yeah, 1,000%. Ryan obviously claiming his innocence. There's a lot going on. And we'll kind of unpack all of it. Obviously, Victor Conte now involved in a lot of the anti-doping, right? Surprise, surprise, anti-doping organizations, methods, and boxings and all that. Obviously, he's connected with Devin Haney. A lot of conspiracy theories. On my end, I've never seen so many people defend someone who allegedly tested positive, right? Anytime anyone gets popped, everybody grills them. Oh, he's a cheat. A lot of people with this guy right here with the clenbuterol, and this is a substance that a lot of Mexican athletes have tested positive for, right? Including a lot of boxers, soccer players, all types of athletes. Canelo got grilled for it, still does to this day. I was very surprised that so many people came to Ryan Garcia's defense. I don't know. Must they know something that we don't? because, like I said, anytime anyone gets accused of cheating, it's a big no-no in boxing. But in this case, I would say more than 50% of the people were defending Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Joe. Like when you first heard it, did you think he was guilty, or what did you make of the situation?
I don't know. I was a bit disappointed to hear that because obviously he had the world at the palm of his hands after that big win, right? Everybody thought he was crazy. Everybody, you know, most people didn't believe in him and most people didn't see him winning, but he dominated that fight. Made Devin Haney look bad. It was a convincing win. So it was a bit disappointing to hear that. And then, obviously he came out and defended himself. He sounds 100% sure and confident that he didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know. I think I'm 50-50. I don't know if to believe all this stuff. So I think I'm 50-50 on my end. I don't know if you're leaning more toward one side.
Yeah, no, I'm about the same. I'm about the same. On one end, like you said, when you get busted, it's very hard to to defend yourself, to go on cameras. Sometimes fighters go on cameras and they deny, but you could almost feel like, man, they're capping, they're lying, they're just they're just saying that, and it doesn't even sound convincing. Ryan sounds a little bit more convincing on whether it's the confidence or whether it's the high of the fight, like it, no pun intended. I think it's just I feel maybe there's whatever he took that he went to social media to show, maybe it's all natural. Like it, I don't know. Again, we're gonna have to wait to see those results. I know Dan Raphael, took to Twitter today. It seems like Ryan is not getting busted for the more serious of those substances, but there is still a sample B that needs to be cleared by May 22nd, from what I hear. But yeah, again, like you said, Joe, there's a lot of people that are defending him. I feel like a majority of those people are diehard fans, and some others are some that feel like, hey, it's a small trace, nothing crazy, nothing that would have added to that fight. But yeah, like again, we're gonna have to wait and see. What were your thoughts, Gio, when we interviewed Joel Diaz? Obviously, he's closer to the fight game. They see more things that the normal observer doesn't see. What were your thoughts when you heard his thoughts?
Very, very surprised. Like I said, he came out and defended him. I'll play some of that interview right now, but he came out. He was 100% sure that there was no foul play here. So, yeah, that part was what surprised me a lot. And it's like, man, maybe they're not telling us the whole story. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play. I thought you were gonna play, bro. No, again, these guys. I mean, we know that in the sport of boxing that there's always funny stuff going on. There's stuff that goes on, and like you mentioned, Victor Conte, and I know that in other in other social media messages, Memo Heredia has given his opinion. I don't know why these guys have a voice. I know these guys are trying to clean up their names. They switched over to the good side, and they call themselves experts at the clean side. I honestly, those guys' names, Victor Conte, Memo Heredia, those names for me are tainted in the boxing game, Gio. I honestly don't know why those guys think that they can, talk about, these things when their names have been, just thrown through the mud. But yeah, again, anything that has Victor Conte, Heredia, I don't trust. I'd rather wait for that sample on May 22nd and see what they decide are the findings.
Yeah, let's go to some comments. I agree with that. Anything that comes out of their mouth should not be taken as fact, should not be believable. They're known cheaters in the game. So, yeah, to me, they don't have a voice in the sport. And we're going to look them up individually, too, so you guys can know the individuals that we're talking about. But let's go to some comments here. Our guy Clyde says he's still crazy even though he won. El Pachuco checking in. Not surprised. His big bro, he looked much bigger compared to just a couple years ago when he was at 135. Some other guys talking about Canelo. Benavidez is starstruck. We'll get into that. I saw some funny videos too. I don't know if you saw it when Canelo was calling Luis R. Conriquez and Peso Pluma into the ring, and David Benavidez thought he was talking to him. He was all smiling, and then that smile faded away when he realized, oh, he's talking to the people in front of me. The much more famous people than David Benavidez, right? But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Let's go. Ryan was gassed, but he was on steroids. Haney kept getting up after 5 knockdowns, but clean. I mean, Haney lost regardless. I mean, I don't think after watching the fight, Devin Haney's chin has always been suspect, Chris. You know, whether Ryan was on something or not, you know, he's always had the power. He's always had the speed. That was not going to go away. You know, I think Haney was going to get caught regardless, but you know, I can't jump to too many conclusions. We'll still have to wait and see. As I said, I'm just still very surprised that, you know, he allegedly tested positive. No, he tested positive. It's not that part is not allegedly. I think the alleged part is just what he took, when he took it, who was behind this positive test. But I just never seen so many people defend someone who got popped. But hey, I'm gonna wait. Like I said, 50-50 to me. And I'm gonna keep it at that.
Well, let me ask you, Gio: is he innocent until proven guilty, or is he guilty until proven innocent?
Well, you're always innocent until proven guilty. But as I say many times in this sport of boxing, logic doesn't exist. If there are any accusations, you know, you're guilty. You're one of those people, Chris. You keep saying Margarito cheated against all these guys. Technically, he never cheated in the ring, Chris. Technically, he got caught before the Shane Mosley fight and didn't even cheat in that fight. You know, he wasn't even able to use whatever he wanted to use in that fight. But look, as I said, logic does not exist in boxing, so he's a cheater. He cheated against everyone, you know, according to you guys.
Yeah, so we'll get back to that in a little bit. Ryan did go through that VADA test. I don't know if you saw, Gio. There was 4 tests that he got. You know, throughout the build up to the fight, there was 4 tests behind the scenes that the VADA did do. It showed 4 tests that cleared. Is it possible that, you know, Ryan maybe days before the fight took something that he thought was, you know, regular herbal whatever, and that's the test that came dirty?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I've said my theory many times before. You know, to me, everybody's on something. You know, but you can't prove that, so I shouldn't say that out loud. Hey, you know, look, Mayweather took some stuff before the Pacquiao fight. Pacquiao took, I think, an injection too to be able to fight in that fight, but there's a lot of money on the line, so they're not gonna get shit for it. Nobody cares. Nobody talks about it. Hey, it's boxing.
Yeah. Again, we'll see on May 22nd what the findings are. To me, I see this as a lawyer. You know, think of, you know, the football player Rice who crashed his car. You know, obviously, you know that he did that. Something has to happen behind the scenes, some PR, some damage control. You know, you pay that speeding ticket and you move on. But we'll see what happens. May 22nd is the official day where, you know, you're supposed to be getting those samples, and we'll see what happens.
Hey man, Tank Davis was drunk. He hit a car. He hit a house. He ran away, and he did zero. Did he go to jail? I don't even think he went to jail. The whole world knew it was him, and he got away. So, hey man, money would do crazy things. But let's go to some comments here. Iceman has a good question. How do you pass 4 times during camp and then right before the fight fail? Are you one of those people who believe or kind of lean toward that theory? How was he testing negative this whole time and all of a sudden he tests positive?
Yeah, to me, maybe something before the weigh-in, like maybe something after that 4th test. You know, maybe he took something that he didn't know 100% what's in it. I don't know, man. I've seen moments in boxing history. You know, I think of the Aaron Pryor, the bottle. Hey, give me that bottle not that one, the one I mixed. You never know. Like there's a bunch of little things that could have happened, probably after that 4 test. But again, like you said, Gio, we don't know until those tests come, and you gotta hope that those the people that are doing those tests are credible. Again, we mentioned the name Conte and then those guys that are still in power that I don't know how they're licensed to still be in the sport. But yeah, again, like you said, in the boxing world, there's always something up.
Yeah, and what I'm pulling up right here on you guys' screens is Victor Conte, who was one of the gentlemen involved. Here, I'm going to just go ahead and read it. Haney works with Victor Conte, the mastermind of the Balco steroid scandal that 20 years ago tarnished the reputations and accomplishments of Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, and dozens of other professional athletes. Conte, 73, said helped create the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, VADA. So, obviously, people are connecting him with Haney. He works with Haney. Haney sponsored by Snack. And that's why everybody is kind of creating this conspiracy theory that, hey, there's something behind here. All of a sudden, Haney loses, and then one of the biggest cheats in sports history, is connected to this. And that's why I feel like a lot of people are defending Ryan Garcia. I think we'll have to wait and see. We'll see if we get the truth, Chris. But he's definitely one of the people whose names you've been hearing a lot, I'm sure, in the past week or so. And obviously Ryan Garcia came out and posted a bunch of stuff. He also even connected that one fool, what's his name, Donald Trump. He took a picture or something with Trump, and he said, all of a sudden everybody's coming after me. And I don't know. It's an interesting novella, Chris. But we'll see what comes out of it. I think my biggest takeaway is, this kind of overshadows the win as of now, because, as I said, there's nothing alleged about the positive testing. And like that happened. What's in question is everything else around it, how that test came to be positive. Hopefully we find out the truth, but we'll see.
Yeah, they're saying, Gio, if it comes back that sample be positive, they're gonna overturn this fight. It's gonna turn into a no contest. What are your thoughts on that? There's a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, Devin Haney's, just he's doing the most to turn back that L." What are your thoughts if that were to come to fruition?
Yeah, and then the rumor is, hey, he paid people off in Tijuana to not have a loss on his record. A lot of people familiar with that area are saying, "Oh, he's lost before. He just paid people off to not have any losses on his record, right?" And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's just doing that again." But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's an L regardless, Chris. To me, it's an L. Just like Miguel Cotto got beat up by Margarito. A lot of people want to rewind the clock and say, "Oh no, Margarito cheated," as I said. But go watch the fight. That was a great fight, and I mean, if Margarito had those wraps, that had nothing to do with his chin that night. He took some big shots from Cotto and walked right through him. That had nothing to do with the wraps. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Haney still looked bad. He still got pummeled in this fight. He went down 3 times, officially 5 times, in our eyes. But he still took the L, and I'm sure he's gonna get a lot of hate if they turn that L into a no contest.
All right, with that, Gio, I think that's a good segue to another breaking news that happened about a week ago. A fight that we were all waiting for. We were hoping, it happened in June, but as we heard, Better Beeb, suffered an injury. What were your thoughts when you heard that, and now knowing that fight is postponed?
Well, let's go to some comments here before we move on, Chris. You're over here jumping the gun, but some comments here. Let's see. Clyde says Conte's whole appeal was creating drugs and drug cycles that would lead to dudes not popping on the test. So I wouldn't trust him. Yeah, and some people say, "Oh, well, this guy, he has a lot of knowledge about that, so that's the guy you should trust, right?" But like I said, man, once a cheater, always a cheater. You don't. That guy should not be believable. I don't know why people give him a platform. I don't know why people interview him. I don't know why he's still relevant. I don't know why he's still allowed in the sport of boxing. But as I said, it's boxing, so that's all I can say. But that explains everything. It's boxing.
I mean, that just reminds me of, when the feds are coming after you and, you work for the feds and you try to catch bigger fish. I don't know bigger fish than him, but yeah, that's just the way I see that. But again, like it was said in the comments, this guy knew how to, fool the powers that be. He knew what weeks to, be clean, what weeks to take it. So this, I don't know, like you said, Gio, once a criminal, always a criminal.
Mad Dog. Oh man, he might have the comment of the night so far. He says, Haney looked like Kiko after the fight. He was pretty beat up, man. He was pretty beat up.
Yeah, no, that was pretty bad. Again, I like Devin Haney. I like the kid. He's not the most exciting entertainment wise. Doesn't have power. Certain things he lacks as an entertainer. But I like the kid, and yeah, just he was not the better man that night.
There you see this the picture on your screen for reference. Shout out to Mad Dog H. Let's see. Iceman says, I want to know how someone puts on 20 to 30 pounds in 36 hours after rehydration. I'm assuming he's talking about Haney. Yeah, because Haney's been doing
Ryan. I think he's talking about Ryan.
Well, I think Haney was heavier on fight night. He's been heavier than that. He's what did Regis say? Against Regis, he was 165. Linares said he was 154 against him, and that fight was at 35. So he gained 19 pounds overnight. So he's been doing this for a long time, Devin Haney. So I think if we're talking about weight rehydration, you got to look at Devin Haney on how he does it. He gains 20 pounds after the weigh-in, which is insane.
Yeah, no, he normally balloons up more, and like Ryan said, he bullies other guys, and this time Ryan bullied him. I want to say Ryan had maybe like 9 pounds on him this fight night. He looked bigger.
I strongly disagree.
Stronger, for obviously.
Strongly disagree.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's just, hey, he took the money. Coach Joel Diaz said he didn't take the 1.5 mil, but he took money. So he, look, the fight went ahead.
Iceman says, no, I'm talking about Haney. The Haney was 165 against Regis. Ryan claimed to be 160 on fight night. So I don't think Haney went down more than 5 pounds to fight Ryan. So the heavier man was clearly Haney. Now, if you're talking about power, come on, man. Pillow hands. I don't think that has anything to do with power. We're talking about weight.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I posed Coach Joel Diaz the question, was there anything Haney could have done that night? He said, nope. The power was a difference, and we saw it from round one. Ryan just did not respect Devin Haney's power. He threw 5 shots, missed 3 of those, but the 2 that landed hurt Devin Haney. And, again, it was just the stronger man won that night.
Clyde says Ryan is just taller. Big Bro says he's lying. He was at least 165. Night of the fight, says Iceman, he was 165 plus. Ryan was 160. Yeah, I'm not sure we'll ever confirm those numbers, but
yeah,
I'm just going off what they're talking about. The previous fight, Haney was 165. Ryan claims to be 160 on fight night, but we'll see. Big Bro says arm look huge. No Diddy. And then there's another comment here that I wanted to touch on. Let me see. Let me see if I find it. Clyde. Hold up. Clyde says Cotto just decided to block Margarito's power punches with his jaw. Yeah, y'all gotta blame Cotto in that fight, man. He quit too. He got beat up, but he quit in that fight.
Oh,
he quit on his knee. He didn't want to continue. Go watch it. Don't believe me. Hey, I'm just a boxing fan. Don't believe me, but y'all got to recheck history. A lot of people talk, but he quit in that fight.
No crap. He quit in that fight. He's getting hit with the brick, Gio. Come on, man.
And look, perfect example, right? The perfect example. Chris has 0 evidence, and then Chris is interesting. People just talk. People can talk just because they can.
I'll let. Obviously, we don't.
Hey,
Gio, we
look,
don't.
man. I don't live in a fairy tale land, Chris. I don't live in a fantasy world.
So you're saying that you think Cotto was, as a grown man, Miguel Cotto's a grown man. You think he's just whining about, a fight that he in his head lost. There was something he was feeling in that first fight.
Yeah,
That
the fucking
was,
punches. That's what it was. He was feeling those
Dude,
fists on his face, and he quit, Chris.
hey,
Cotto's a no
again,
quitter. I don't know why you're defending him being a quitter. He's quit many, many times before.
I'm just saying, if somebody, like you said, if somebody cheated once or was going into a ring, with stuff in his gloves, I'm sure he did it a couple times before.
Hey, you can live in fantasy land all you want. Now, y'all hearing a lot of I thinks, I believe, I'm sure. I'm just talking about evidence. I don't know. We've talked about this, but many, many times on this podcast. I'm only going to speak on the facts. I'm not going to talk about little stories on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You can do that if you want. I'm just talking about the facts.
Hey, again, people know they don't have to have the facts. People, come on, people know.
All right, let's see. Did you just say people don't need to have the facts?
Like, people don't have to have the evidence in front of them.
Oh,
They
man.
know.
You're not helping yourself, man.
Come on, Gio.
He said we don't need to have facts. All right.
Yeah.
Iceman says, yeah, Ryan did look a little chubby. He did. Khan definitely quit, says Big Bro. No defense whatsoever. Zero defense. How do you know that for certain, Chris?
Like I said, I don't know it for certain.
Okay, then stop right there.
The evidence is in the pudding. Come on.
Margarito was landing from the beginning with volume. Cotto didn't have answers, says Clyde. And I'm a Cotto fan, and I don't like Margarito. Cotton is a diva, says Big Bro. He lost respect for me from that Maravilla fight, acting like he was Floyd or Manny. And you know what's funny, too? Because people would say, oh, yeah, Cotto whooped his ass in the second fight. He got his revenge. Dude, all he did was hit the eye. Like, he fought an injured man. Manny Pacquiao had done damage to that eye on Margarito, and then people celebrate, oh, Cotto whooped his ass. Not really. I swelled shut, and they stopped that fight. But, hey, it all depends on who you like. That's how the narrative goes, right?
Yeah. No, the thing, and we've seen it on the comments, after that the Mosley fight, Marietta number one again, he wasn't even competitive. He wasn't hurting guys the same. Like, it was
there you go. Fantasy land.
He lost so much power, wasn't the same. I could have gone in the ring with him and probably outboxed him easy.
Fantasy world.
Come on.
Man. Hey, how come the raps didn't work against Pacquiao?
Say that again?
How come the raps didn't work against Pacquiao then?
Oh, come on, dude. He never landed anything on Pacquiao.
Yes, he did.
Come on,
you better go watch that fight. You better go watch that fight.
There was nothing landing on Pacquiao. Pacquiao was landing like 7 to 1 shots. Come on.
These raps only work against certain people, I guess, huh? Man, that's crazy. That's wild. Man, telling you. But some last comments here before we move on. How did we get into Cotto Margarito? That's crazy. But Mad Dog, man, Mad Dog probably outdid his first comment. He said, if Cotto's face got hit, you must have quit.
Hey, we'll be in Puerto Rico. We're going to ask Cotto those questions, man. I'm having faith. I'm going to run into Cotto. He come on now. Let's go.
Chris sounds like Ryan, says Big Bro. Devin, I had a dream, Haney says. Adi. All right. Well, let's move on, Chris. You touched briefly on let's see, do I have it on here? I don't, but let me pull it up for you guys. I had it pulled up before. Well, let's go to the Joel Diaz. I told you guys I was gonna play this clip, so let's play what Joel had to say.
Especially when it's a fight at that magnitude, it's just another story. I don't believe it, and I know that at the end of the day, it's this is gonna generate something big in regards of the way he beat Devin Haney. I mean, the fact that he beat Devin Haney is because business wise, he is the man that sells. I mean, unfortunately, Devin Haney's a great fighter. He is a great fighter, but there's fighters in boxing that that are ticket sellers. They can generate big revenue, and unfortunately, Devin Haney's not one of them. Ryan Garcia is. So right now, obviously, everybody's gonna attack Ryan Garcia. Any little thing he does, I mean, he fought. It's over, and all this story about everybody right now is like, oh wow, did you see? And just believe me, just give it a couple of days, everything's gonna be fine. Right now, just because especially.
All right, so there you interviewed Joel Diaz. He was adamant that there was nothing here, right? Just a story, he calls it.
Yeah. Again, we're gonna have to wait a couple of days, Joe, to see if, how the results go. But yeah, there's a lot of people that say there's adverse findings, little things like that. You mentioned, the cholesterol and the meat that's tainted. I mean, there's so much stuff out there, Joe. We would never really know what's inside the food that we eat. But yeah, again, I'm gonna wait till the facts come on May 22nd, and yeah, I'm just like you, 50-50. Obviously, like you said, innocent until proven guilty. When a test like this comes back positive, I'm more of the mindset guilty until proven innocent. So again, we'll see how that second test comes. But yeah, man, we're getting a little bit of lesson into the inner workings of PEDs, BADA, and all those kinds of things. Thanks to Ryan.
Yeah, a lot of different takes. I don't know. It just creates confusion in my mind. Like I said, I'm 50-50. I don't know who to believe, but I'm sure we'll get something by next podcast, hopefully. But Ryan seems he was trolling. He posted a picture with the stuff that he was supposedly taking, the supplements or whatever. He's been trolling, just having a good time after the victory. So, but I think that's the right approach. I like that approach. He's just having fun with it, calling everybody liars, talking shit about everybody. Most people give their fake apology tour. Oh man, I never take anything, man. I've never cheated in my life, man. And those I don't believe. Those I don't believe that much. I I believe Ryan more than those guys.
Yeah, agreed. And again, Victor Conte behind Vara, connected to Snack, to the Haneys. It's a little fishy, man. We're just gonna have to wait.
Yeah, but Chris, let's continue. I'm sure we'll talk about this more. A lot of good comments there in the comment section, but we must move on. Devin the Wet Dream Haney. Oh man, they said no Diddy, but let's continue to the fight that we were so excited for, Chris. It was going to be a crazy 30 days. We had Canelo, we had Inoue, we're going to have Lomachenko, we're going to have Fury Usyk, and we were supposed to have Arthur Beterbiev against Dimitri Bivol June 1st on that stacked card. It's still a stacked card nonetheless, but Arthur Beterbiev, the light heavyweight undisputed title showdown postponed due to an Arthur Beterbiev injury. Big Bro says there goes the yearly Beterbiev injury, right? He's getting up there. I believe he's 38 now. He's older. This is not the first time this happens. I believe that fight with Callum Smith was also postponed initially because of an injury to Arthur Beterbiev. So we'll have to wait for this one, Chris. We'll have to wait a little longer.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Again, you want to, have a Beterbiev that's 100%, and those injuries happen as you get older. And yeah, you obviously when they meet up, you want a Bivol to, if he were to win, to get the maximum credit that he deserves. He's an excellent boxer, excellent fighter, very disciplined. He's fought Canelo already. He's entered people's imaginations now, and so finally gets the fight with Beterbiev. We finally get a date. And we have to wait a little bit longer, but yeah, I'm still just excited that we get it this calendar year. Again, sometimes we talk about these fights, and it's just a pipe dream, but we have it this year, and hopefully he recovers. What about 8 weeks, Gio? Normally for injuries from from the injury date, 8 weeks usually for them to recover and get that cam going. So hopefully no more than 8 to 12 weeks to see this fight this calendar year.
Yeah, and Beterbiev says now 39. He's going to undergo surgery, and it's expected to be sidelined until at least September. I think it was like a meniscus tear or something. It was something serious. A ruptured meniscus. Here it is. So this is a serious injury, man. When I read that, I was like, man, are we still going to get this fight? Like, that sounds serious. Especially for a guy his age, especially for the fight of this magnitude. You got to be 100%. You can't just go in there at 50, 60, 70%. This sounds like it's going to take time for him to even start training. So
yeah,
my personal opinion, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think we get this in 2024.
Yeah, now that you say it's a meniscus, I'm thinking like you better. You're fighting a guy in Bivol, the second best guy in that division. For all the marbles, for all the titles, for legacy. I even though I'm a fight fan and I want to see this, I want to see this at its best. At both of these guys is absolute 100%. So no earlier than December, man. Again, I respect both these guys. We both know these guys are warriors. These guys will fight on regular TV. Yeah, man. Again, want to see these guys both healthy. I wouldn't mind waiting December, maybe early January, but man, no more injuries, guys.
Yeah, man, that's terrible, but I think we have in May to hold us down, Chris. We just had a big fight, and we could probably transition to that. I don't know if you have a lot more to add on this. I'm disappointed. I'm a little worried that this fight won't happen.
Ooh, like that. Yeah, again, if these guys signed up to make this fight, I feel like they both know the enormity of it. And I think even Beterbiev knows, he's got a couple of years left. Even though he's undefeated, he's crushed everybody in his wake. He knows that for him to get the credit and the respect of the boxing fans and of the world, he does have to fight Bivol. And hopefully this isn't, more serious than expected. So, and hey, we'll wait till early 2025, man.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. But, as I said, we had Canelo. We're going to speak on that, obviously, the face of boxing. But we also had the face of boxing in Asia, Chris. Naoya Inoue stops Nery in 6 rounds, survived the scare in the first round, but it remains undisputed champion at 122. Now, when I saw the weigh-in, Chris, I was like, man, Nery actually has a size advantage. Nery's usually smaller than his opponents. Obviously, Inoue going up in weight. He conquered 118, won all the titles there, conquered 122, won all the titles there. But during the weigh-in, I was like, man, Nery looks a little bigger, So for a guy who can pop 27 KOs, I believe, in 35 fights, I figured this was going to be a dangerous fight for Inoue. I wouldn't have been surprised if he got hurt in this fight. He didn't seem too hurt from that knockdown. Kind of seemed a little surprised. Got right up and then dominated the rest of the fight. Still looked great. Knocked Nery knocked him down 3 times, I believe. To me, the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. And man, as I said, the face of boxing over there in Asia, 55,000 people at the Tokyo Dome. People saying, oh, he needs to come to the U.S. Man, that's where the bag is over there. 55,000 people. That's crazy. Nobody here in the States does that unless your name is Canelo.
Yeah. Sure, I was one of those people, it was like Christmas for me. I was like, I got to wake up early, see this fight. I messed up, fell asleep. But as soon as I woke up 6:30 a.m., I went straight to my phone, looked at the socials. The first thing I saw was that knockdown, and I was like, many of us were shocked. I was like, what happened? Like, rest of the fight. Obviously, you see what Inoue did. He wakes up, he starts to break Nery down, and lo and behold, 6-round knockout. Again, it stays impressive, but a lot of respect to Nery. Even though we know that as Inoue goes up in weight, he's going to start to have trouble. He might start to get hurt, get caught here and there, and that's what happened with Nery. But again, that power, that discipline, that fundamentally sound style, man, is what makes him one of the very best right now. And man, the way that he folded Nery, I was like, again, it makes him a little human to get knocked down. but it also makes him, you see what kind of monster comes out when he's hurt. And so again, impressive performance. Like you said, Gio's 55,000 in that dome. I know he gets a lot of heat from people saying that, he hasn't come to the States, but dude, he's attracting the very best from Mexico. He's attracting the very best from all parts of the world. And why would they fight him anywhere else where it's not going to sell, So Japan is a place that you have to go to fight the monster. And again, he is the best right now.
Yeah, and look, he's now 22-0 in championship fights, 20 knockouts. So he became a champion. I think it was his 7th fight. 22 championship fights now, 20 knockouts. I mean, if that's not pound for pound for you, I don't know what is. I don't think there's any other active champion fighting title fight after title fight after title fight and pretty much knocking them all out. Impressive what he's doing. He brought out everybody over there in Japan. Obviously, the only thing that people can kind of say something bad about this is, oh, he got knocked down. A lot of people are going to use that against him, but you kind of touched on it. But to me, that tells me, okay, how are you going to react when you get hit? He reacted well against Finito Donaire, had a busted eardrum, I think busted orbital bone or broken nose, I forget. It might have been all of the above, but that fight told us, man, this guy's got heart. He has a chin, and he can withstand that type of pressure and that power. In this case, he got knocked down, got up, dominated the rest of the fight. So I'd rather see that than guys taking easy fights and knocking everybody out. I'd rather see them face a little bit of adversity. And like I said, to me, he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Power, speed, defense, IQ. It seemed like he beat Nery with strictly IQ. Just like Canelo did Munguia. We'll get into that. But in this fight, I think Nery knew what he was getting into. He said, I'm either knocking him out or I'm getting knocked out. And Inoue said, no, it doesn't have to be that. I'm going to just outsmart this guy and hurt him, counter him, be smart about it. And that's what he did, man, in front of his people. Impressive once again. And this guy, one thing you gotta say about him, he's active. Look, his biggest win, probably that Fulton win. That was in July of 2023. He won all the belts by defeating Tapales in December of 2023. Now he fights Nery 6 months after that. Before that, obviously, you see the Paul Butler fight, Nonito. The ones that kind of stand out the most before that are the Maloney, Donaire, and Manuel Rodriguez fights. But this guy's been active, man. You got to give him credit for that. He's active. He's getting paid out there. He's looking good. Still scoring knockouts. Always exciting to see the monster.
And Gio, I got to ask you, and I got to ask you guys in the comments, man, what was your thought when you saw the monster get dropped?
Very, very surprised. I personally thought maybe he was going to get hurt in this fight. I didn't think he was going to go down, though. First round, it was like, whoa. And then, obviously, you ask yourself, is he really hurt? But he looked good when he went down. And that's kind of weird to say, but he went down. He stayed on his knee. Just looked at the ref, took his time. He remained calm, and that's probably his biggest asset, his biggest strength. He never panics, and then Nery tried to hop on him, but wasn't able to really hurt him after that. And then after that, it was a wash. So obviously surprising, but I feel like he took it very well and he passed that test.
Yeah, it seems like the weapon of choice of the last 3 weeks has been the left hook. Inoue gets dropped with the left hook. He drops Nery with the left hook. When I seen him go down, I guess the first initial thought is like, whoa, like how hurt is he? Obviously the first thoughts that come to mind is the hook that Devin Haney took from Ryan. And you've seen how Devin Haney, was on weak legs, struggling to get up. In a way, like you said, Joe took it better, took his time to get up. He didn't look like he was on unsteady legs. And that's one of the things that fight fans see, that's the thing that they see, like, how hurt is he? Is he on weak legs? If he is, like, oh my God, how is he going to survive? How do you, fend off, this guy that's coming at you like a bulldog? So again, I think it shows the, how wise Inoue is, when it gets hot, when it gets into those scary moments. He was able to, keep his legs under him, weather the storm, and like you said, take over. I think of Tyson Fury when he got knocked down. He got hurt, but he came back and started taking over that round against Deontay Wilder. So again, it's those little things that make these champions greats. So again, yeah, like we said, as he gets into these bigger divisions, he will get touched. How far up do you go? Being a little guy.
Yeah, and let's go to some comments here in the comment sections. A lot of comments on Hoya. Iceman says, it got levels. The monster came in a little too anxious, says Big Bro, trying to please the crowd. Rookie mistake. Nery was the bigger guy. He had power and was a little slick southpaw. It dominated after getting dropped. Even toyed with him for a little bit. Yeah, he was taunting him. A bit. But it's always a great fight, Mexico-Japan. So you knew this fight was not going to disappoint. We knew Nery was not going to disappoint. Just like Munguia, right, Chris? We'll get into that, but man, it's different. It's different. That Mexican heart, that Japanese heart is different. So we knew this was going to be a good fight. Big Bro says the real monster is the undeniable P4P number 1. He has beaten 3 of the top 4 at 122. And look, he's outsized by these guys. He's on that Canelo stuff right now, fighting the bigger guys. Let's see. Inoue had that surprised look like he got an A- on his report card, says Adi. That's funny. He's cleaning out the division, says Big Bro. Clyde says, not a big deal. Mad Dog says, I'm surprised he didn't look hurt. Same with Iceman. So, pound for pound, Chris. I already gave my opinion. I think he's number 1. Big Bro, I agree with Big Bro. I think it's undeniable. Obviously, ESPN will tell you otherwise. But give me your thoughts now. We kind of touched on it last week. You have that certain guy, that a lot of people just like to put up there by default. Not sure why. I don't know. People have just a hard time deciding that. They just say, hey, I'm going to give it to this guy here. I'm going to just go with the crowd and give it to this guy. But we also have a big heavyweight fight. So let's get into that debate. Who's the best? Who's the best in boxing at the moment?
After this performance, and Gio, again, this is my opinion.
Now say it with your chest, Chris. Don't backtrack now. Say it with your chest.
And my pound for pound 1, 2, 3, I feel like it's like a horse race, man. It's always like what have you done in your last fight? So that's how I have it. Right now I have like Terrence Crawford and Inoue tied for first, man. Like right there. But I'm gonna say this. The winner of the Tyson Fury Usyk, I can see, and depending on how they win, if it's very convincing, if it's dominating, if you knock the other guy out, whatever, that one could usurp this position until whoever, what have you done for me lately? But right now, after that, yeah, Inoue has to be like up there in number 1 again. He got dropped, and it could have been a catastrophe. He could have been knocked out, but he weathered the storm and came back in impressive fashion and knocked out yet another world champion. So he's not just getting by guys, beating them or winning by split decision. No, he's knocking these guys out, and in 6 rounds. It's like not even going into the championship rounds. It's unheard of. So again, Terrence Crawford had an impressive last performance, but Inoue right now like makes a perfect case for that number 1.
Just say what you want to say, Chris. We won't get mad at you. We'll just debate. But Chris has this guy as his number 1. I'm still very, very confused, man. But to me, yeah, is number 1, but I think that heavyweight bout, whoever is the winner, should be considered number 1 pound for pound. Now, Chris, let me get your take on this, because I hear a lot of, if Usyk wins, he's number 1. But if Fury wins, I don't know. Do you share that opinion?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. If Usyk wins, because he came from a smaller division, he cleaned out that division, and then he came up to a division that we saw him struggle that first fight. He did what he did to Joshua. If he does something similar to Fury, yeah, he should definitely get that number 1. Tyson Fury has only been in one division, so his case is a little bit tougher, but you also got to give him some credit, if you're able to either outbox or soundly defeat a guy like Usyk. it's almost like you're taking a lot of those accomplishments that Usyk did. You got to give him credit in that stance, but probably not top 1, but maybe top 5. I would give him some credit for beating a guy like Usyk by moving him in the top 5.
Even that confuses me. How does one guy win and doesn't become? I don't know, man. That's crazy.
How far do you
crazy to me.
Tyson Fury if he wins?
I think he has to be number 1.
Okay.
Do I think he's number 1? I don't think so, but you got to be fair. You can't put one guy at number 1 and not the other one. How does that make sense? Especially because nowadays, who would you consider the best heavyweight right now in the world?
It's gotta be Fury, just for everything he's done.
A lot of people think it's Usyk, and it might be Usyk, right? Let's just say it's Usyk, the number 1 heavyweight in the world. Tyson Fury's beating a better opponent than Usyk is on fight night, then, isn't he?
I mean, they both. I love both these guys, and they each have their accolades. Who do you give them? Who do you give the edge to in based on resume in the heavyweight division?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
Well, I think Fury has a better resume, but I think it's unfair to say because he's been at heavyweight for longer. So I think he's been fighting the more notable names than Usyk. At cruiserweight, no disrespect, but we don't even know who Usyk was fighting. He became undisputed, but we didn't even know any of those guys.
Yeah.
Fury beat Wilder 3 times. Obviously the first one was controversial draw, but those are still 3 victories. Usyk got 2 against AJ. Fury's still up by 1. Fury defeated Klitschko when Klitschko was the man. That's another one to his resume. So I think right now, hands down, Fury has a better resume, but that can probably change if Usyk beats him, though. Now Usyk, as you said, coming from a lower division, now you can say he beat the top 2 guys at heavyweight. So that's no easy feat. But I think right now Fury, hands down, has a better resume than Usyk, and that's why I'm confused, because I'm like, he has a better resume, he beat the better opponents, and if he beats Usyk, somehow he doesn't become number 1.
Yeah. I think what people are saying is, again, pound for pound, you're in multiple weight divisions. Usyk has that over Tyson Fury, and that's no hit at Tyson Fury. He can't really come down to cruiserweight unless he sheds a lot of weight, which is hard because he didn't even start there. So that's a knock against Tyson Fury, not his own fault. But again, like I see your point. You could put him at number 1 because he's fighting the very best heavyweight out there after Usyk defeated an Anthony Joshua that people clamored for years and years for Tyson Fury to fight. It's like Tyson Fury was first in line, at the table. Usyk was outside waiting for, how many years. He comes to the table, he takes the food from the bully. So again, it's a lot of, there's a lot of little things, Gio, but I can see why you would put Fury number 1 if he were to beat Usyk, and again, vice versa with Usyk.
Yeah, man, it's an interesting convo, but the great thing is that we're actually getting that fight. Hopefully, knock on wood, we're actually getting that fight, Fury Usyk, and then we'll get to see who the number 1 heavyweight is, and then from there on we can draw up our conclusions and all that as far as who's top pound for pound. But to me, as of right now, it's Naoya Inoue. The skills, the resume, what have you done for me lately? The other guy that they like to put on number 1 hasn't even fought in forever. He fights once a year if you're lucky. This guy, and then he has an easy-ish fight coming up next too. So the level of opponents, man, it's not even close. But hey, Inoue shines again. 55,000 people. I don't even think Crawford put that many people in his last 3 fights put together, Chris. So Inoue, to me, number 1, looks good again. Got dropped, got surprised. As people here in the comment section are expressing, they were surprised by it, but he reacted well and stopped Nery. We predicted a KO, Chris. I think you actually predicted an earlier KO than me. I think you were right around those middle rounds, 5 to 6, if I remember correctly. I thought it was going to be more like 8, 9, but yeah, Inoue kept hurting him, and then that last one, it was the referee saw enough, folded him, Nery was down, and he was going to get hurt if they would have let him continue.
Yeah, obviously after that get back in round 2, it seemed like round 3 and 4, it was all Inoue. He was just, just keeping his balance. Again, his technique was flawless. He was being more defensively sound. He was still getting caught here and there. I mean, you're going to get caught by a guy like Nery, but he was also making Nery miss, a lot of wild shots. And you saw just Nery just, losing that accuracy and getting broken down, getting beat to the punch. Anyway, being more accurate, and boom, the way he folded him in that 6, man, you knew it was over, Gio. So again, to do it in 6 rounds or less, I think I predicted 7 or 6, something like that. But to do it that quickly, I've always said anybody that doesn't last around at least 7 rounds, that guy's on a different level. So yeah, again, being the smaller guy coming up to that division is insane of Inoue. And yeah, man, those comparisons are coming, but yeah, a great fighter. And Naoya Inoue, man, I know that his home and his ticket sales are in Japan, but man, somebody's got to throw the bag at him so he can come to the U.S. Man, we deserve to see him here in person, man.
Yeah, and look, I think Nery can still make noise. Well, he's 29, Naoya 31. Nery has only been stopped by Figueroa. That was a body shot. It can happen to anybody. I didn't really hold that against him too much. Against this one, obviously, losing to the number 1 guy in the world. Can't be too hard on him. I think he could still become champion. He's a good fighter. He has good pop. So, in the past, he hasn't been as disciplined. It looked like he was 100% ready for this fight. Just fell short against a better opponent. But Adi says, good question here. Do y'all talk about the Haney versus Garcia 500K pay-per-view? Are those accurate, Chris? We'll look it up right now, but will $500,000 be a dud for a fight of that magnitude, and especially how all the theatrics and how they sold it?
Right. Wait, how many did Davis Ryan make? I think it was upward of 900,000, correct?
They're saying 1.2 million, but that's PBC, so probably like 700K.
I was gonna say we take away 300K, 300, 400K, 800K sounds about right. Maybe 700K, 500K. Those are real. I'm assuming I'll be a little bit generous. I'm gonna say under 200K. So take away 200K, 300K. For Ryan being the only one promoting the fight, but Devin Haney not being the exciting, dancer that you need to sell pay-per-view, with Ryan's theatrics and his antics that, even though it was drawing attention, it was also turning off a lot of people that Paulie said, I'm going to stream this. I'm not going to pay for that $89.99 price tag. I want to say that's a dud, but it's respectable numbers at the same time. Yeah, again, I feel like you could throw away this pay-per-view in a sense if your stock rose, which Ryan's did, obviously pending all these allegations of PEDs or whatever. But yeah, I feel like the next pay-per-view, if Ryan clears, he'll do better numbers, man. Again, I think he lost 1 million followers on Instagram, Gio, and as soon as he won the fight, his numbers went back up to he gained 2 million. So again, it's I think those are weak numbers, 300K in my opinion, but I'm sure that those numbers will be higher next pay-per-view.
Yeah, and the fortunate part is we never really get real numbers, right? It's just the company telling you, hey, we made this many views, Chris. If YouTube didn't show that that view count, we'd be telling you guys that we're getting, 20,000 views every podcast, right? And hey, you guys will probably believe us, but those numbers are, I guess, never really public. You guys saw me right there live. I was Googling. You don't really get a real number. The range is from like 200K all the way to 1.2 million. So it's probably somewhere in between there, Chris. If we want to be, fair, maybe 400K, 350 maybe.
I think it's about 400K, 350K. And again, Ryan is. I mean, we've seen the numbers from the videos that we got. His numbers are good. with the dance partner that he had, it hurt his sales. But I'm sure they're gonna go up for next event, depending, of course, on the dance partner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Devin Haney can't sell a freaking sandwich to a family member, man. So he didn't have a real good dance partner for this one. He did zero marketing for this fight. All the selling was on Ryan Garcia's, and we forgot Devin Haney was in the fight, man. Especially on fight night too. He was a ghost, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we ever get the real numbers. I think anything below $500,000 is a dud. I think they were hyping it up. Oscar said it was gonna do better than the Tank Davis fight.
No,
it doesn't seem like it's gonna get close to that, but well, we'll see, man. We'll see. I think anything below 500 is a dud. But moving on to go ahead before we move on.
Really quick, because I know we're gonna move on to the face of boxing. But did you catch Ryan Garcia's songs, and what are your thoughts on those diss tracks?
I listened to the one, I don't know what it's called, Blessed or something. I saw the Oscar de la Hoya video. I thought it was funny. Thought it was a bit catchy. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna use it at some point. On our Instagram stories when we post stuff, when we post screenshots of this podcast. I like to put some music behind it. I'm gonna use it, Chris. It's not terrible. It could be worse. It's not like Kendrick Lamar diss level tracks, but it's for a boxer. I don't think it's bad.
Oh, okay, cool. You heard the Haney pack?
I believe I've heard snippets of it. What do you have? Do you have them playing right now in your car? Is that what you're bumping nowadays in the morning, heading to work?
Not really. But not gonna lie, man. The beat is kind of the beat is all right. I mean, it's catchy. Again, Ryan's just. I thought the promotions were gonna end after that win, but I mean, like you said, Joe, he's keeping it going, man. Regardless of these allegations. But dude, the beats are funny. I mean, it's some of them are catchy. They're a little silly, which makes it just entertaining all around. But yeah, man, he's still going hard on Devin Haney as a rapper. So that's funny, man. I'm here for the entertainment. So yeah,
yeah. And going back to the pay-per-view numbers, we got some reactions here. As Iceman said, they were saying 1.5 million. 500 says Big Bro. I had seen 900K somewhere. That's an L for Cringe Rye and Haney. Adi saying it was a report on Boxing Scene, but it's down. Yeah, I tried to click on it and it wouldn't load. The La Hoya video was crazy, says Clyde. He knew I would like it. Yes, did he on that one? It's not bad. It's not bad. I'd rather listen to that than Aubrey, But Big Bro saying I only saw the Oscarin clowning version. Haney pack. Big Bro's laughing. I thought it was I'm blessed. Something like that. I didn't add it to my playlist. I don't know if it's on the streaming platforms, but I heard snippets. I definitely saw the Oscar video. Hey man, they're having fun with it.
Honestly, like,
can't be mad at people having fun, man.
I was gonna say, I'm sure, like, behind the scenes, while we were all getting while we were all getting fooled, Ryan was over there telling Oscar, like, hey, it's fine, I'm good, like, I'm gonna win, like,
I'm blessed.
I feel like Oscar was like, I don't know, man, like, I think even Oscar got fooled. And obviously that huge win over Devin Haney, and obviously Oscar is super happy. And we all know Oscar's not your average party, or like like some of us mortals. So yeah, man, Oscar was feeling himself, and man, that video was nuts. That's crazy, man. But like you said, Gio, man, hey, having fun. He's basking in the moment. Like you said, Gio, it's good for boxing that Ryan won, because it opens up so many entertaining fights. Again, we're gonna have to wait till May 22nd and see what happens. But hey, for now, just enjoy the moment until those results, man.
Yeah, doing what I do. Oh, White. No, whatever he was saying. Dude, that shit kept playing all the time, huh? I didn't even find that funny. I didn't even find it that funny, but that one went viral. Whatever he was freestyling or whatever, that one was funny. So people were saying play the clip. Let's see if I can find it here. I'll play it for you guys. That Oscar one. It should be. Let me see if I can find it on his Twitter real quick. It should be here, right? I should be able to find it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Who loves me? I know you guys saw the shirt. We're gonna get into it right now, man. We're gonna get into it. Let me find that. He's saying he's gonna sue Canelo and everything.
Ooh.
Let me see. Oh, where is that? When did this come out? How come I can't find it? Am I gonna have to go on his Instagram? Yeah. Dang it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oscar, I was gonna say Oscar's on a good one, man. He's on a tear. About a year and a half ago, I was like, Eddie Hearn is killing it, but hey, De La Hoya has been like taking over when it comes to entertaining, man. Like all the craziness, he's out back there taking notes from Ryan. Like, man, I gotta do some outlandish stuff. And again, you don't have to tell Oscar much. He knows what he's doing. So yeah, it's Karin, man. It's Karin.
I gotta log in. I don't remember the password, but let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it because it's funny. It's worth it. But anyway, Chris, I'll play it in a little bit. The face of boxing. The face of boxing, Canelo. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Another victory. Surprise, surprise, right? I think we all saw it coming. I had predicted a decision. I don't know if you had predicted a stoppage. I can't quite remember.
No, I was giving I think I was giving us the Munguia credit on his chin. And I think I said decision, UD.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. You know, I thought Munguia maybe was going to be able to push Canelo a little more back, but Canelo looks so comfortable in there, Chris. Man, he stayed in the pocket, countered. Sometimes he even just put his hands up, blocked the shots. Seemed unbothered, and that IQ again stood out. Dropped Munguia in the fourth. We'll go ahead and play it in a little bit, but looked good again. There was a crazy judge who had a 115, 113. There's always one judge who doesn't watch the fight, Chris, but I think this was a wide one. There's levels to this. Munguia started very well. Combinations. We know he tends to gas out a little bit, and yeah, it seemed like Canelo could have stopped him, but maybe respected him a little too much. But another big win for Canelo, still undisputed at 168 pounds.
Yeah, like you said it, Gio, it was a very convincing win by Canelo. Props to Jaime Munguia. He started off well. You know, he had some good volume punching in the early rounds up until the point where he got caught. And like you said, you know, Canelo was just, you know, kind of walking him down, you know, picking his shots, you know, moving his head, just the more accurate puncher with, you know, the lesser shots. Yeah, Jaime was throwing more punches, but it almost felt like they weren't affecting Canelo too much. It almost felt like it was like, you know, the dad fighting the sobrino, or, you know, he was just like beating him on a little bit, but always in control, always composed. Like you said, Gio, there was a round where he hurt Jaime, and he, you know, people are saying that he carried him. I'm gonna have to agree. It reminds me a little bit of Cotto, where, you know that this fight is in the bag. You've won the majority of the rounds. You know that this kid is not on your level yet, and you don't want to, you know, overhurt him, you know, the way Ryan did Devin, and, you know, mess him up, mess up his future, mess up the rest of his career. He won soundly, and hey, he's still the king.
Yeah, and you guys are watching the knockdown right here. It all started with that uppercut right here. Boom. Uppercut, then left hook. Munguia went down. I thought he was going to be seriously hurt. I think he recovered well. That shot he did not see coming. Munguia, not used to getting hurt. I think he took it well, survived. But as I said, and as a lot of people said, I think Canelo showed a lot of compassion. You know, he's mentioned in the past that he prefers not to fight his countrymen, and I think it was a little bit of that, Chris. I don't think he wanted to hurt Munguia too much. Munguia's a nice, respectful guy. He's a cool dude. He's funny. You know, it was more of a beef with Oscar, and that's why a lot of people thought, oh man, maybe he gets a knockout because, you know, Oscar's been talking a lot, you know, but you see the last few seconds here, you'll see them hug it out at the end. But yeah, it seemed like Canelo wasn't in a hurry to get him out of there. You know, he got some good rounds in. He looked great. He didn't sit down at all, Chris. 65 professional fights. He didn't sit once in between those rounds. He looked great physically. He looked sharp, quick. Reflexes were there. Another great performance by Canelo. But yeah, I feel like he held back a little more. Kind of like against that Cotto fight. You know, he kind of let Cotto finish that fight. Kind of a little bit of the same here. You know, and on the flip side, I think for Munguia, huge for him to go 12 with the face of boxing. I think this makes him a better fighter. I think this is going to make him a little more confident. And to me, I can't wait to see what he does at 168 pounds because I don't think he looked terrible in this fight. He just fought a much better opponent.
Yeah, like you said, Gio, like the whole Canelo not sitting down was all psychological. Of course, you know that Canelo's older. You know, he knew that Jaime was going to have the youth advantage. I was very impressed with Canelo's stamina. I know that that's something that you said, like, come on, man, he's been good, but I think that's one of his things in his game that he, in my opinion, improved, and I've almost forgotten that he's had stamina issues in the past. But yeah, again, Canelo on another level. And like you said, Gio, I thought Canelo was gonna hurt him because of the antics that Oscarin, played out in the press conference. Even though, like you said, Jaime has always been respectful. We've actually called fights with Munguia in the past before. He's such a sweet guy, nice guy. Humble fighter. There's a reason why a lot of the Mexican fans in attendance were screaming his name. And Canelo knows this. And like you said, Gio, I think Canelo has compassion for his Mexican brethren. He doesn't want to, hurt them. Obviously, he wants to help them and give them a payday, which is what he did with Munguia. Man, that's like life-changing money. But yeah, he definitely does not want to fight, Mexicans when it comes to hurting them. And I feel like he fought at, I want to say 75%. You tell me if you think I'm wrong, but it feels like he was not fighting at full strength, 75%, 70%, and that was enough to beat a guy like Munguia.
Yeah, I think on defense, he was very sharp. I think on offense is where he let down his gas off the pedal a little bit. You were there in attendance, Chris. Las Vegas, T-Mobile, the Canelo's home. How was the crowd? Was it jam packed? I know on the telecast you can hear a lot of Munguia chants. Second half of the fight, kind of the crowd turned more towards Canelo, leaning toward Canelo, because he just started kind of dominating the fight. But yeah, how was the atmosphere there in person in Las Vegas for the Cinco de Mayo showdown?
No, it was good, Joe. I want to say it was about 85, 87% full. Good number. Again, it's an all-Mexican affair, so, everybody was there drinking, having a good time. Definitely pro Munguia. I heard mostly Munguia chants from the beginning, especially with his volume punching. And, people just liking his humbleness. People liking him that he's quiet, soft-spoken, doesn't talk, any smack. And he has had fan-friendly fights the last two fights. So people were really riding high on Munguia, lots of Tijuana shirts in attendance. And like you said, it was until like after the knockdown and mid-fight that people just knew that Canelo was still the man. His time is still now. Jaime is probably going to be the future of boxing, if he grows from this experience. But yeah, for right now, it's all Canelo. And again, it was a great Cinco de Mayo weekend, man. Again, all Mexican affair, and it was a good fight.
Yeah, let's rewind to some comments here. Big Bro talking about Oscarin with the mustache. Let's play it for you guys real quick. I have it pulled up. I found it. Let me see. Where is it? Here it is. Can we get some audio of this? There you have it. I hope the audio was okay there. But I thought it was funny, man. They're having fun with it. Look at Oscar. Oh, man. I'm not going to replay it, but you guys can look it up if you haven't seen it before. That was the Oscar De La Hoya video. Oscar living the life, man. Look, he did what he could to promote this fight. Obviously, he went at it with Canelo in the press conferences. To me, that looked like, I don't know, a plan, but a little WWE-ish. He was trying to get those pay-per-view numbers up because they had been respectful before that. They hadn't really addressed each other, and all of a sudden they just went at each other's necks. And, Canelo had a lot of words to say to him. Oscar didn't seem like he took it too personal, even though he did say he was going to sue because of those comments that Canelo made that he steals from fighters and stuff like that. But, they did what they did to sell this fight. Obviously, Munguia, respectful, quiet. It was going to be all business between him and Canelo. But I mean, the build-up to me was entertaining. Did you have anything to add to that, Chris, before I go to the comments real quick?
Yeah, and that was funny to me. I mean, again, we've always said entertainment is half the game, Gio. And so when Oscar's acting a fool, when Oscar's creating drama, when he's calling out Canelo, and you see Canelo, obviously we love it when Canelo talks smack, man. We love that Mexican accent when he's talking smack, saying that mother, all those stuff. So to me, that's all good for boxing. It's entertaining, and so I'm always for that.
Yeah, for sure. And let's go to some. Oh, there you have it, the big knockout right here by Inoue. Let's go to some quick comments here on YouTube. Let's see. The thing is that Ryan is popular with the kids. All my students were talking about the fight and him before and after the fight. True. So yeah, I noticed that a lot of younger people were tuned into this fight. Some older people too. Boxing is boxing, man. Boxing is always gonna sell. Just like with the Canelo fight, there were still a lot of people. It's like the new Oscar de la Hoya, the new Chavez. Cinco de Mayo weekend, people doing the carne asada. Oh, we're gonna watch the fight this weekend, right? That's what people were talking about, and Ryan is having that effect with the younger people for sure. Let's see. I thought Canelo would end Oscar at the press conference before the fight, says Clyde. Big Bro says Munguia's lucky. Canelo had compassion for him after seeing him take all the shots. He says he didn't give Munguia more than 3 rounds. The one, maybe 3, and maybe another one. So in there. Clyde had a 117-110 and says Canelo could have ended him, but showed respect and saved Munguia's future. Adi says word is he has bad knees and that's why he wasn't sitting in that Charlo fight either. Yeah, I mean, Canelo has a lot of miles on that body, man. 65 pro fights. You're not going to see any of the modern fighters fight that many fights. We talk about Inoue being active. He's 31. He only has 24 fights at the moment. So by 24, I think Canelo already had close to 50 fights. When he fought Floyd, he had 42. And that was at 22 years of age. So yeah, he definitely Canelo's an older, an old school type of fighter. Adi also adds, I think Canelo was more excited having Peso, Pluma, and Luis R. Conriquez. He was over there showing him the ring and the turnbuckles and presenting the referee to them. Yeah, and Chris, I don't know if I can find that video, but there's a funny video of after the fight, Canelo is talking to someone in the crowd. Peso Pluma and Luis R. Conriquez were there. Benavides was sitting right behind him. So Canelo's waving at him over there like, you, come on, get on the ring. Benavides was all smiling. He looked all happy. And then once they let Luis R. Conriquez go into the ring, that smile faded away. And he was like, oh, I guess he wasn't talking to me. I don't even know Canelo acknowledged them, but, Canelo was out there with all his homies and they had a great time. Luis R. Conriquez walked them out. It was great, man. Canelo knows how to put on a show.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a little secondhand embarrassing from a boy, Benavides. And again, Joe, we've met Benavides. I like Benavides. I know you're not too high on him because of whatever reason. But yeah, man, that was a funny moment. Obviously, you see Canelo just being a boy, just being a guy over there with Peso Pluma and the kiss, and yeah, man, he's having a good time. And again, why not? When you're, you don't have to go all out. You can beat this guy with 70%, 75% effort. You know, Canelo was just having a good time. And obviously we saw some of the videos behind the scenes with Ryan and all that. You know, Canelo was enjoying his moment again. We know that we don't have too many more years with Canelo with the face of boxing. So he's enjoying it. He's enjoying his last fights, and why not, man? He's done already so much with 60 plus fights under his belt.
1000%. And look, talking about Benavidez, I saw a video by his dad. Of course, his dad was talking about Canelo because 90% of what he speaks on is about Canelo. But thanks, Iceman, for clarifying. 27-0. Yeah, 27 fights for Inoue, 24 KOs. I think that's why I got confused. But Benavidez, I saw his dad, Jose Benavidez Sr., give an interview. And interesting enough, he apologized. He said he's given up on the fight. He apologized to Canelo. He said, hey, you know, we just said a lot of things, you know, trying to get him to bite. We might have said disrespectful things, and we apologize. Maybe he's trying to take the Munguia route, trying to be nice now. But he's like, but yeah, now we've given up. We're going to 75, but we don't think the fight is going to happen. So he backtracked, I guess, everything he said. And what's your take on that? I don't know if you saw that video or not, Chris.
No, I haven't seen that video, but yeah, that's a little surprising. But at the same time, maybe Benavidez knows, like, the more you chase, like the way you're chasing that knockout, it's not gonna come. You got sit back, you know, knock any guy in front of you. Try to get guys with names under your belt, and hopefully Canelo comes knocking.
Maybe he's just reverse psychology. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
oh, there goes.
Okay,
Adi said the same. Adi said the same thing too.
What did he say?
Maybe he's trying to use reverse psychology.
Okay. Hey, he saw that being a punk didn't work, so now he has to take a different route. But I think that's a fight that does get made, Gio. I think down the road they do fight. I feel like Benavidez poses the bigger threat than Munguia. You know, faster hands. You know, not the best defense, but you know, faster hands and a bigger guy. So, you know, hopefully if Benavidez looks spectacular, which he should in his next fight against Wolfsburg, in my opinion, maybe we see that fight down the road. But yeah, man, again, it's Canelo's still the face of boxing. He's, you know, still, in my opinion, the best at 168. No one comes near him at 168. But yeah, man, again, it's still the Canelo era.
Yeah, going to some comments here, people going in. Let's see. Someone said Benavidez looked like a proud son after a Canelo performance. Too little, too late. Dummy says, big bro. Why Canelo had all the security? Like the cartel showed up? Is that what it says? Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you see the comments? Oscar looked like a cartel boss coming out for that fight, man. Again, Oscar's this guy's just having fun. But yeah, again, Gio, any takeaways from Canelo against Munguia?
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. That's what my take on it. Defensively, he looked good. Still, you know, changing up the combinations down to the body. You saw the uppercut, knockdown. Still looking good, Canelo. You know, at 33 years of age, 65 pro fights. To me, it's just like but even before this fight, I couldn't see Benavidez beating him. More so even now. To me, the only difference between Benavidez and Munguia is Munguia has a chin. You know, so yeah, I think Canelo has a good chance of hurting Benavidez if they fight. He's just not good enough to fight with Canelo. His defense is similar to Munguia's. You know, block everything with the face, with the body. You know, that's not going to work against Canelo. Canelo's still looking good. Great stamina. Like I said, didn't sit. And just the IQ. That's the difference. You know, same with Inoue against Nery. Inoue got knocked down. Yeah, maybe Nery had a little more power, but in the long run, you know, that's where that level shows in the long run. That's where the class difference shows. You know, in a 12-round fight, you know, like Big Bro said, a lot of these rounds were competitive, but Canelo just had a little more in every single round, and that adds up by the 6th, 7th, 8th round. that becomes noticeable. So biggest takeaway, Canelo still looks good. To me, still beats the Benavides. To me, Benavides is nowhere near his level. And on the other hand, I think Munguia's stock rises. I think he becomes a real player at 168, even in defeat, even getting knocked down, even getting hurt, and maybe Canelo carrying him a little bit. I think this showed that he can hang. He has the chin, he has the heart, he has the power, and I think he becomes a real player at 168. So I think those were my two biggest takeaways. I'm glad it was a good weekend. They did it on Cinco de Mayo weekend. It was jam-packed. You were there. I'm sure you had a great time. So it was a great weekend for Mexican boxing.
With that said, Gio, I know that there's not a lot of fights that interest you or excite you, put opposite against Canelo. But I mean, who makes sense for Canelo to fight? For the last 2-3 fights of his career, if he only has 2 or 3 left.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I was reading the comments here. My bad.
What fighters? I know there's not a lot of fighters that excite people for Canelo to face, but who makes sense for him to face next?
I think Zurdo Ramirez Cruiserweight Championship. You make history with that one if you win. Zurdo now a champion at a cruiser. You continue that Oscar beef. Obviously Zurdo with Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy. That sells. You can do it in September, Mexican Independence Weekend with 2 Mexican fighters. That sells. And I think obviously the Benavides fight makes sense. Benavides got a couple good wins under his belt now. I think he's earned it now. People are still lying out there saying he's been the mandatory for 3 years. It's never happened. He's never been the mandatory. I don't know where people are getting this information from, but Benavides chose to fight a guy who retired for 3 years damn near. So I don't know how likely that fight is now. Benavides didn't want it. I assume he was going to become the mandatory after beating Caleb Plant and Andrade. They were saying the WBC was going to name him mandatory in March. Right before that, he magically decides to move to 75. But I think that fight makes sense, and maybe he wants that fight back with Bivol. I think those 3 fights are the big ones. Anything else, I think you favor Canelo by a lot. I don't know if there are any names out there who make sense. Even this guy, Clyde asked earlier, how true are the rumors, that Big Turkey Al-Sheikh wants to fight with this guy right here, Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford gets knocked out. I think that's an easy fight for Canelo. Easy fight. He's been fighting these guys who are 5-6 inches taller than him, 25 pounds taller than him. If he's finally fighting a guy his size and Terrence Crawford, I think that's a wash. Easy knockout. I don't really want to see that fight, but I do want to see Terrence Crawford get knocked out. So, but to me, my preference, I think number 1, Zurdo, just to create that history. That Oscar beef is still there. It sells. Benavides, 2, and then probably Bivol 3, to me at least.
Nice. I like those names. I agree that based on this performance with Munguia, obviously the size disparity, the size difference, we know that there are weight classes for a reason. We've seen what Ryan did to Devin Haney. I feel like Canelo will do something similar to Terrence Crawford. You know how I feel about Terrence Crawford. I think he's one of the very best. Having said that, and seeing how hungry and motivated he is to pursue a fight with Canelo, I would say why not? Like, hey, if it makes that's the biggest cash cow in the business in Canelo against the top 3 pound for pound fighter right now in Terrence Crawford. Yeah, there's a little size disadvantage, but like if Terrence Crawford wants it and it's life-changing money, and I'm almost like saying like why not just make it happen. And I agree that Canelo should handle him based on size, but I feel like Terrence Crawford would hang in there, the way Amir Khan hung in there, until he got caught. So I'd be intrigued with it. Make it at 164 or whatever. But that's a fight that would intrigue me as a fight fan, just to see those two names, get it.
A lot of people are saying Berlanga here. Uh, Not necessarily in a good way, but we don't want to see Berlanga fight, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. That doesn't excite me. Yeah, he's a big guy, strong guy, but I feel like Canelo folds him the way he did Kirkland.
Yeah, Berlanga was there in attendance. I saw a video of him shaking Canelo's hand and kind of giving him his respects and stuff. Hey, Canelo got a lot of fans, Chris. All these dudes,
Yeah.
want to fight him, but low key they're all fans. Benavides was there, and all these guys go to his fights. Crawford, Chris, I don't know, disappeared or something. Let me change the screen. Crawford was there, of course, another Canelo fan. Tank was there, another Canelo fan. Chris is back. Berlanga now adding his name to the list. Everybody, there's no one else in boxing who brings everybody out like Canelo. There might be two guys who might be able to do it, but they're fighting all the way in Saudi Arabia. But Fury and Usyk might bring out a lot of people out there. But every Canelo fight, these guys are all there. They don't want to miss out. It's the face of boxing. They're trying to take notes. How do I do it? How do I sell tickets? How do I sell pay-per-views? But they were all there. They were all there watching Canelo, but not too much else on this. We still got to talk Lomachenko, Kambosos. That's coming up this Saturday. So last take on Canelo Munguia, Chris.
Again, Canelo's still the very best at 168. The passing of the torch does not happen. He still has the torch. I want to see him against Terrence Bud Crawford. That's a fight that I wouldn't favor Terrence Bud, but I would love to see Terrence test himself against the king of boxing.
Yeah, 1000%. El Pachuco says Canelo's the only boxer consistently fighting and beating up bigger guys in their prime. That is the heart of pound for pound. Yeah, and I think Canelo's still up there. I think I have Canelo maybe 3, maybe 2. Obviously he lost to Bivol a bit more than he can chew there. But he was going up to a different weight class. But to me, just the skills, I think, and Canelo are up there. Probably have to put Usyk up there. Everybody else, don't matter where you put them. But I think those 3 guys are doing special things. And if Usyk wins, he's going to join that undisputed list. So far right now, it's only Canelo and Inoue who are undisputed. Obviously, Bivol Beterbiev postponed. So Usyk can add his name to that list. So, yeah, man, look, it's the face of boxing. Another exciting weekend. I think they saved the weekend, Chris. He didn't have an opponent. He couldn't find anybody. The Charlo got so scared after watching his brother get beat up. He didn't even want the payday, Chris. Insane. He said no to the payday. He's like, nope, I'm not ready. I'm not fighting. He got slapped by Plant. Still doesn't want to fight Plant. I don't know what's wrong with him, but they were trying to save it. I think they did a good job. They found another Mexican boxer who we knew was going to come out to fight. He did just that. He survived the 12 rounds. He showed a ton of heart. He didn't back down. And I think they saved the Cinco de Mayo weekend, and we'll see what they come up with for September for Canelo. But yeah, Chris, let's go ahead and move on to our last topic of the day, because we're talking about talent. We're talking about talent here. Obviously, Vasily Lomachenko, a little older, but he still has a chance to win a title against Kambosos. We all think he's going to win, right? I don't think Kambosos poses any threat. I don't care where they fight. I don't care if they fight in a desert in Australia. He's not winning that fight.
Yeah, I think for the most part we feel like a guy like Vasily Lomachenko, and like you say, he's a little bit older, up in age, but he's still ultra talented, still ultra skilled. I would say he's maybe if he was a 10 out of 10 at his prime in his elite, he's still probably like a 9 out of 10, and that's still good enough to beat a guy like George Kambosos. I don't expect us to get no Pacquiao versus the opponent that he lost to in Australia. I don't expect that kind of fight. I think Vasily Lomachenko will show his experience, his talent, his speed, and outbox a very game and a very hungry George Kambosos. But ultimately, I see Vasily Lomachenko winning. Hopefully, we get on with robbery. Hopefully, we get on controversy, and we see Vasily Lomachenko get a title and become a champion once again.
Yeah, and I'm gonna draw my official prediction. I think he wins by decision. I think Kambosos will be too proud to stay down in front of his people. It's gonna be a jam-packed stadium over there in Australia. I'll look up what specific time the fight is right now, but yeah, I think he survives. Obviously, Lomachenko not the biggest guy at 135. Kambosos isn't either. Kambosos is not a big puncher. Usually, the guys who give Lomachenko are the guys who are much bigger than him or much stronger than him. Kambosos is neither of those two, so I think there should be a pretty easy fight. No disrespect, but I can see like a 10-2 for Lomachenko. Like I said, I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's in the Ukraine, in the States, in Australia, in the ocean. Man, Lomachenko's winning this fight 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I think George Kambosos he maximized on that win over Teofimo Lopez, and look at all these fights that he got. Again, he got great paydays with Devin Haney. Was able to bring those fights to his homeland. He's doing that with Vasily Lomachenko, another great payday. Again, no disrespect to George Kambosos, good fighter, but just he's not on that elite level. And again, just getting these kinds of paydays he's got to be happy. Again, he got on camera after that Teofimo win, and he was, just doing a lot of presses. He was doing a lot of broadcasting work, and so he maximized on this performance. But I think it's going to catch up to him. I know that everybody always says, these Canelos, the Vasily Lomachenkos, nobody beats Father Time. Eventually, they're going to get old overnight. But I do not, I don't think it happens to Vasily Lomachenko in this fight. We saw him, what he did to Devin Haney, a very competitive fight. I know that you had him winning. I had it very close. He still has the goods. So, yeah, again, he's very hungry for that title again. Again, a lot of people feel he was robbed from that, those belts against Devin Haney.
Yeah, look, Kambosos got two fights out of Haney, man. That's insane. Nobody asked for the first one. No one damn sure asked for the second one, but he got paid twice. So good for him, man. Look, here's the time that they're reporting. Time 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific to be specific. Main event ring walks approximately 11 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific. And I'm really trying to look at the odds here, man. Kambosos listed as 5'9". I don't think he's that tall. Lomachenko 5'7". Kambosos 2.5-inch reach advantage. Record 21-2. 10 knockouts only. Lomachenko on the other hand, 17-3, 11 KOs. He has more knockouts and 4 less fights. But anyway, yeah, this is for a vacant title, IBF at 135. I don't know. They're not showing the odds here. I'm very intrigued by what the odds look like, Chris. I don't know if you've looked them up or you saw any numbers, but I would think that Lomachenko's the big favorite here.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. I would feel like the odds would be like -400 for Vasily, if not higher. But yeah, again, a guy like George Kambosos, even if he tries to rough him up, tries to make it physical, Lomachenko is a veteran. He's got so much experience on his side. I don't see another Orlando Salido kind of moment. I don't see like I said, a Pacquiao, Jeff Horn kind of moment. I think Vasily just has too much experience on his back end. And again, Kambosos should just be happy that he's got like this great payday. I think even the Australian fans, who are great fans, they get behind their fighters. They're just like the UK fans. They come in numbers. I think even they know that Kambosos is not the type of guy to beat a guy like Vasily Lomachenko. Again, that Devin Haney fight. Well, a lot of people felt Lomachenko won. If that guy beat our guy in George Kambosos, what chances does he have against a guy like Vasily?
Yeah, that's why this man says Lomachenko beat Haney. I 100% agree. But yeah, look, going back to the paydays, he got 2 Devin Haney paydays, and now he's getting one against Loma. So not sure where Kambosos goes after this. We're already writing him off, Chris. Disrespectful, huh? But he's not winning the fight. Let's just be honest. But he did recently sign a promotional deal with Top Rank, obviously, so they gave him this fight. We'll see where he goes after this. He might just become a stepping stone for those guys at 135. There's a lot of talent coming up, so they might use him that way. That's usually how boxing works, right? Those veterans, they start using them as stepping stones, as gatekeepers. But we'll see. Hopefully, he's an exciting fight. I'm excited to watch Lomachenko. He's always an exciting fighter to watch. And I don't think we're gonna get that many fights out of Loma, man. Maybe 2, 3 more years in his career. So let's enjoy it. He's a generational talent, the Matrix. We'll see what he can come up with. Now he's going on the road. He's done it before. He fought Luke Campbell, I believe, in the UK. Now he's going over there in Australia. I'm sure it's gonna be jam packed. I'm sure, the people will be there for Kambosos, but they'll be very pleased to be able to watch a P4P talent like Loma. And yeah, I think he wins an easy decision. I don't have much to it here. I did look up the odds here. It says Lomachenko's a minus 650 favorite on here. Let's see what DraftKings has him at. Minus 700. Kambosos plus 450. Let's see what the outcome. The KO plus 250 for Loma. Draw plus 2,000. Have you bet for Kambosos? Let me see. Plus 800, plus 1,400 for a KO for Kambosos. So, yeah, man, these odds look just about right to me. Loma, the big favorite, and he should get a W this Saturday.
Question, Gio. I know like it's been, obviously as you get, as you go up in the divisions and as you're fighting bigger guys, you're not likely to knock them down. Do you think Lomachenko knocks down George Kambosos, or do you think, the size disparity just sees Lomachenko winning a decision?
I think you can knock him down. I think, man, Loma's sneaky. I think, a lot of times those boxers say it's not how hard you punch, but where you land it, how well you land it. If your opponent doesn't see it, that's where you can create that damage. And I think that's going to be the case in this fight. I can see Kambosos getting hurt to the body. I can see Lomachenko sneaking those straight lefts, something that Kambosos maybe won't be able to catch. Haney struggled with that whole second half of the fight. He even told his daddy, like, "Hey, Dad, man, he keeps hitting me with that same punch." Daddy Bill didn't know what to do. But yeah, I can see Kambosos getting hurt in this one, but like I said, I think he survives. I don't know about you. How much do you trust that Kambosos chin?
I think he's got a good chin. I think he's got good size advantage over Lomachenko. I just think Lomachenko's accuracy is at a different level, and especially in those later rounds, especially that ninth round, which I think he loves. I think he loves that round. I think it's one of those rounds that some of these fighters just decide to take off, and that's where his stamina kicks in, his second win, his accuracy, and he just, I don't know, there's something magical about that ninth round for Lomachenko. But I think something like that similar happened. I want to ask you, do you think we're being a little disrespectful to George Kambosos? Gio, he does have a size advantage. He is fighting at home. He has knocked down, bigger guys like Teofimo. Do you think we're being a little disrespectful?
Not at all. Not at all. I think I'm being fair. Big Bro says Loma late round stoppage. I think we're being fair. It's just levels to this. I like Kambosos. I just never considered him one of the top guys, even though he was undisputed. I mean, come on, man. Even though he did have all the titles, I never really considered him the top dog. He doesn't have power. He has 10 KOs and 21 wins, I believe it was. But he is an exciting fighter. He's going to show a lot of heart. He struggled against, who was it, Maxie Hughes, or who did he struggle with against recently? It was a terrible fight. So it's not like he's coming in with a ton of momentum or anything. But I think we're being fair, and most of it has to do with his lack of power, and he just hasn't beaten the top dogs like that. I think the Teofimo, I don't want to call it a fluke, but I think, yeah, Teofimo slipped up. Maybe wasn't healthy. Maybe got overconfident. But let's be honest, besides that, we haven't seen Kambosos do much. So I think I'm being fair. Respectfully.
Yeah, I would say if Kambosos were to shock and surprise us, because crazier stuff has happened in boxing. But if he were to beat Vasily, it would be up there with Jeff Horn beating Manny Pacquiao. And I know a lot of people feel like he didn't win against Manny Pacquiao, but it would be up there for sure. So it would be another upset, another shocker for the calendar year.
Yeah, it would definitely be a shocker, but hey, if it's a close fight, man, and they can get a rematch out of this, man, don't be shocked. Hint, hint. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that close of a fight, honestly.
Yeah. Again, like you said, it shouldn't be a close of a fight. If you always say like we don't condone gambling or whatever, but if you got $10 hanging around and you want to bet for the powers that be's, decision, a draw or to stretch that match again. There's a lot of money in Australia. They got their own fan base, their own built-in fan base. I think some of the best agents in the world, because we've seen the Maloney brothers, they just keep getting, fight after fight. So, yeah, man. Again, the draw wouldn't be shocking if it's a close fight going in.
Yeah, man. I think that's all I got. We didn't talk about much on the undercard, but it's all good, man. We need to get out of here. An hour 47. It's been a long last few podcasts, so we got to get out of here. But I do want to mention some of that Canelo undercard. We did see Jesus Ramos. That's a guy I really like. He's only 23 years old. He looks 33, but he's only 23, I believe. Good fighter, man. Good Mexican fighter. Southpaw strong. I think he got robbed against Erickson Lubin. So he has that loss now. He wasn't even on the pay-per-view card. He was on the YouTube prelims, but that's a guy I like. At 154, pay attention to him. And what was Mario Barrios? Who did he beat? I already forgot who he fought. Oh, he beat Maidana. Yeah, he beat Maidana, and not much else on that card, right?
Yeah, not too much else. Like you said, Ramos, good fighter, robbed in my opinion as well. That's a guy that's gonna make noise at 154. So he's there. He's a player in that division. And of course, you said Barrios. I wasn't too impressed with him. Obviously, Maidana, the brother of Chino, not nowhere near close to his brother. So again, not a lot of takeaways from Mario Barrios, but yeah, again, it was all Canelo. Again, you don't expect it to be stacked cards when you have a guy like Canelo in the main event.
Yeah, and we'll see what the pay-per-view numbers do. Obviously, I watched it on Prime, Chris. I didn't even go to the zone. It was just easy for me to log into my Prime and buy it or whatever. Did the zone have their own commentators? I don't even know, because obviously on Prime it was a Showtime commentators. I don't know if you guys watched, any of you guys watched it on the zone and can let us know. Was it different commentary crew? Was it just the Prime telecast on the zone? I don't really know how that stuff worked, but I think it was a decent show. Obviously a good main event. We'll see the numbers that PBC comes up with. The inflated numbers. Wink, wink. And those will probably be out soon. But as I said, I think they saved the Cinco de Mayo weekend, and it turned out to be a good showing, man. Shout out to Munguia. He showed a ton of heart. It just looked like they didn't have any answers. A lot of people were saying, oh, maybe Freddie Roach is going to make a difference. But, Canelo already beat him, 3 times now? So, Canelo and Eddie doing their thing again.
Yeah, and again, shout out to the Canelo team. Shout out to Eddie. We've seen in this boxing game, Gio, some of these fighters, just they switch coaches every 3 years, every 5 years. If a fight doesn't go their way, they dump the trainer. I know that there was some of the drama with Oscarin because of that. I think that's where the drama started, where Oscar told Canelo to dump Eddie Reynoso. But hey, this many years later, and they've had so much success. Canelo going through weight divisions and collecting all these belts, having arguably the best resume in boxing in the last 20 years. So again, yeah, great job by Canelo team, and everything they've done. And again, like you said, Joe, we're just enjoying the last couple of years of Canelo. the last couple of years of Vasily, they don't stay around forever. Nobody beats Father Time. So, yeah, man, just enjoying their skills. And again, what a month of May it's been so far.
Big bro says, yeah, they did. Mannix, Sergio Mora, forgot the other one. Saw the zone highlights. All right, cool. I ain't mad at that. Hey, one thing I do want to highlight is, look, Kambosos hasn't fought since, July of 2023. That was the Maxie Hughes fight. That was a terrible, boring fight. Lomachenko hasn't fought since the Devin Haney loss in May of 2023. So both guys pretty much took a whole year off, and now they're getting it on, man. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good fight. Hopefully we get some good action. Pachuco had a good comment here. He says Loma is bitter from being robbed in his last fight against Haney and would therefore turn up his aggressiveness. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully we get a good fight and both guys don't look rusty out there. Some more comments here. Great show, says Mad Dogs. Saludos, Mad Perro. Great show, like always, guys. See y'all next week. Yes, sir. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking Lomachenko, and then we got a preview Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, which is coming up already, May 18th. So, and then hopefully we get some Ryan updates. We get some pay-per-view Canelo numbers and all that stuff. Pachuco says, I refuse to support PBC, so I purchased on the Zone. Yeah, I wanted to. I honestly wanted to purchase it on the Zone, but yeah, they just make it so difficult. I got to log in. I don't remember my password. I got to make sure they don't charge me for the year and all that stuff. It was a lot easier for me to go on Prime and just click buy. All my info was already there. So that's the only reason. I would have much rather pay on the Zone too. Go out playing I'm Blessed by Ryan, says Iceman. Oh, man. All right, Chris, last words. I'll play it. I'll play it for them.
I'm not against that.
Oh, did I? I got to look it up. I'll look it up. I got you guys.
Yeah. And I know, Gio, I know that you don't go on social media that much. But yeah, just to end the show, before you play that Billboard Top 100 song, yeah, Tim Tszyu and his dad Kazuya Tszyu reunited. Tim Tszyu took to social media, told him, "Hey, I'm here with a fan." Picture of his dad, the legendary Kazuya Tszyu, and it looks like he's, either in camp to help Tim Tszyu. I'm sure Kazuya knows how dangerous, how important this fight is for his son's career. So, hey, man, things are getting very interesting behind the scenes. I am super excited, not just for Usyk and Fury, but also for Virgil Ortiz and Tim Tszyu. Again, Beterbiev and Bivol gets postponed for the time being. But like you said, I think we have some great fights on the horizon to keep us fed until that fight gets a new fight date.
Yeah, I actually did see that, Chris. I saw it today. And I think I was like during my lunch break or something, and I was like, man, Costa's you still looks really good, Chris. I don't know if you noticed that he still looks real good, real sharp on the pads and everything. So, Tim is taking it to another level. As you said, they didn't always have the best relationship. You didn't really see Costa as part of that team. I think it was Tim's uncle, but I think it was like on his mom's side or something. I was reading about it, But now you can see it. It's on another level. Now they're together and father showing support for his son and vice versa. So things getting real, man. Things getting real. And Costa, by the way, one of the biggest punchers ever, man. That Zab Judah KO. And I know Clyde always mentions the Chavez KO too. Once Chavez was older. But yeah, things are getting real, man. Big Bro saying play They Not Like Us. Oh, man. We'll end it with Oscar. Hopefully we don't get flagged with this song. I don't think it's like copyrighted or anything yet, so we can get away with this one. Pachuco says, yeah, the Zone is sneaky with the renewals. Yeah, one time they tried to charge me for the whole year and I had to dispute it, and it was a mess. So I try to avoid using their stuff. You really got to read the fine print and stuff with the Zone. I try to avoid the headaches, but anyway, allegedly, I don't want to get sued like Canelo, huh? By the way, he's right behind you, right? That man standing right behind you this whole time is Canelo. What does he have? Go to your left. What does he have?
He's been making sure like we're not, saying anything that we shouldn't.
What does he?
But
What does he have on his left, Chris?
Man.
What does he have on his left? Can you show us?
We got a little.
We can't see it, Chris. Can you show us? Move the camera, please.
Little bit.
You can't see it, Chris.
Hey, see it now?
Oh, let me see. All right, there you go. Oh, he switched it up today. He switched it up today, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that.
Little BMC, But yeah, again, Canelo's the man. Hasetsu's the man. Things are heating up for 2024, man, and we're here for it. Let's go.
All right, thank you, mates. That's been it for today. Let's end it with this great music video right here. Top star.
Highly favored, I'm blessed. Highly favored, I'm blessed. Highly favored, Susie O, Susie Taylor, I'm blessed. Highly favored, I'm blessed. Highly favored, I'm blessed. Highly favored, Susie O, Susie Taylor. Every day I wake up and do my job. I'm on the rocket plane, getting closer to God. Hit you with it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't give a shit because I'm Mexican. Let's go, mates. They not like us. They not like us. Let's go, mates.
Todos, Karim.
Payday. Got that payday.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Pastor Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.